Hi, I'm Harvey from Wolfpack, and this is my scripted idea called
Bus Stopping is an episodic comedy drama set on a small town ramshackle bus as it winds its way through the suburbs. It will be a love letter to British sitcom culture and its underdog characters, following eccentric personalities as they travel on their daily bus route, all seen through the eyes of our protagonist, Matthew. The show strives to find the beauty in the banal, with characters coming and going as the story weaves between the seats.
Matthew, 26, is a funny and gentle figure who is desperate to please others in order to quell his own insecurities. But despite his sincerity, the world never seems to let him win. After completing his sentence at university, Matthew falls into a 9-to-5 in order to pay the bills. However, after several years of monotony, he realises that he's living the life his younger self swore he'd never settle for. Matthew dreams of making it as a musician. However, each weekend he finds himself lugging his equipment back home on the night bus after playing to an indifferent cluster of pub-goers. He strives for a greater life and purpose, but his demoralisation is reaching such an extent that he's losing the will to fight for more than he knows. That's until he meets Jo, 58, who's an English teacher at a local behavioural school. She is outspoken and cynical, with a very hard shell, but has a deeply warm and compassionate underbelly, which she desperately tries to conceal to those she doesn't trust, which is almost everybody. This self-defence mechanism makes it almost impossible for her to build lasting relationships. Her collision with Matthew is one that wouldn't have occurred in natural circumstances. However, when jammed together on a packed morning journey, they're forced to interact. Through the course of the series, Jo becomes Matthew's confidant and acts as the only stabilising force in his life, directing him when he feels there is nowhere to turn. Angus is a cocky private schoolboy who, due to his father's recent redundancy and tricky divorce, has found his flow of money has dried out, and he now has to travel with the peasants on the local bus service for the first time. Clive and Colin are like chalk and cheese. They take the morning route to various activities, whether it be visiting a museum or playing bowls, but these seemingly mundane activities manage to cause rifts between the pair as they bicker about the day's plans. Clive is slightly repressed and passive, whereas Colin is confrontational and dominant. Beth and Ethel are two friendly older women who travel on the morning bus to the day centre. They belong to a swingers club despite their innocent appearance, and it's become very clear that Ethel has lived quite the life. Matthew finds himself on a packed morning commute, shoulder to shoulder with dozens of passionate football fans. After being caught in the crossfire of a heated altercation between two opposing fans, he decides he's had enough and he'd rather walk home. As he tries to exit the next stop, the bus jolts and he falls face first into the lap of one of the more burly lads. Thinking he's being propositioned, he pushes Matthew back and he slumps into the only available seat. The lads in the front begin hurling abuse at him. It becomes impossible to ignore. After another jolt of the bus, a can of Stella goes flying into the air and lands into the book of the lady sat beside Matthew, Jo. Jo delivers a remark on their bigotry that leaves them speechless. We then follow Jo and Matthew as they talk for the rest of the journey and begin to uncover the layers of each other's past. Over the course of the series, Matthew and Jo will face various funny and tragic challenges that will cause the pair of them to develop a strong friendship. Precinct dramas such as The Office and Inside Number 9 act as a good example of the comedic and dramatic potential of a story set predominantly in one confined space. In fact, this proximity can amplify all kinds of tension. Another very successful character-led series is This Country, which attempts to find the drama within the mundane, inspecting small-town quirkiness with microscopic detail. In addition, a show like Fleabag maintains a strong comedic overtone, without losing any visual style or sophistication. These shows also exhibit how flawed underdog personalities at the very fringes of society often make the most endearing television characters. Public transport is a topic of universal relevance, especially in terms of age groups. Young people and students, who are arguably the primary users of buses in this country, will understand the quirks of the daily bus journey, not to mention the appeal it would have to the bus pass holding retirees who frequent the dusty seats. Hence the show could boast a target age range between 16 and 75. The very concept of bus stopping is to observe the strange collision of a diverse range of voices and personalities in the confines of a moving metal box. Thus it would be natural to assume that the diversity of characters would result in a diverse viewership. The target for contributors and distributors would be primarily small television production companies with a view to creating fresh and unique stories. Listed here are Objective Media Group, Feel Good, Fresh Meat, Peep Show, and Two Brothers Pictures, Fleabag. BBC Three also is known for illuminating new artists and storytellers, not to mention its youth appeal. This service ends here. Thank you.